Hi everybody, welcome back. We're the Bunny Hug Farmers. My name's Tyler Janin. I'm here with my co-host Dallas Leduc. How you doing today, Dallas?
Oh, I'm just like everybody else here on the prairies. I'm a little cold, but not bad. Got some snow coming down, and it looks pretty nice and white out there. And no, I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to be in a nice warm house tonight.
That's great. I hear you just went on a little trip here this past weekend.
Well, that's yeah. Being on a farm tends to be stressful. We'll discuss more of that later on, but sometimes you just have to make the choice. I pulled my daughter out of school on Monday, or we went to Calgary for the whole weekend. She skipped school on Monday. We had a little family holiday, went to a hockey game, went to the Cross Iron Mills Mall out there, did some shopping, wandered around just the massive Bass Pro Shop out there. That thing's massive. It makes the one in Regina, the one in Regina is a fifth the size of the one out there, and then that's just massive. Everything you'd ever imagine is in that store, right from boats to quads to muzzleloaders. They got it all.
Isn't that something, mate? I've actually seen that one in Calgary, and it is quite amazing. But you said you went to a hockey game. Who was playing and who won?
Oh, it was a good game, good game, good game. My wife and my daughter are both huge Calgary Flame fans, and I've been a Detroit fan since the Stevie Eiserman days and the Fedorov days back in the 90s, so I've always been a Detroit fan. So we went and watched two teams that have an outside chance of making the playoffs have a great game. And actually, the old barn, the old Calgary Saddle Dome, is a good old facility besides only having one bathroom in the whole place. Like, our seats were first row, second level. They were awesome. Detroit won, so the game was even better. The food was good. The beer was cold. They get you the happy hour prices. A beer was less than $6 for a beer at happy hour prices. How can you go wrong with that?
How can you go wrong with that? You go to most local bars, and it's more than that just on a regular night.
Well, that's what a friend of mine goes fairly often. He says, go early, catch the happy hour prices. So here's a shout out to Calgary Saddle Dome. If you're going to go to a game, go right when they open the doors, an hour and a half before the game, catch the happy hour prices, get a beer, enjoy, get two or three, because they're going to get expensive in a hurry. I never did buy a drink, not on happy hour prices. I just enjoyed my time. Again, because I drove, so I had two drinks, because that's all I feel I can, you know, safely handle. I'm operating machinery or a vehicle in town with my family. Two beer, even at my size, is my limit if I'm going to drive.
Right. Right. Is that not the last year of the Saddle Dome? I heard they're building a new one, or do they have a few years of it left yet?
Oh, I think they probably got a couple years on. Like, they haven't started broken ground on the new one yet, and I don't know exactly what's going on there. They're going to bulldoze some buildings in the Stampede Park there, build the new Saddle Dome, bulldoze the old Saddle Dome Follyford Park, and then kind of rearrange the whole thing down there. I'm sure somebody's going to yell at us saying, "You idiots! You don't know what you're talking about." You know what? You're right. But yeah, the old building, it's good, but it served its time. It's 40. I think it was built in 80. So it's 45 years old already. It's just not quite big enough, and definitely doesn't have the washrooms. I mean, I missed half the second period when I went to the washroom because that's how big the lineup is.
Yeah, aren't they? They're saying the same thing with the Brant Center in Regina. They're wanting to rebuild that one too because it's kind of met the end of its life and it's not big enough for a lot of the events that they want to bring in.
Yeah, that and the same time they've had bathroom and plumbing issues there too. But this summer I went out with Cortiva and Southwest Terminal. Took me out to Toronto to the Rogers Centre for a couple of Blue Jays games. But you know what? They rebuilt that old ballpark, the old Sky Dome or whatever they call it now, and they redid everything there except for basically the roof. And that is a marvelous facility. You would never know it's as old as it is because it's so well redone on the inside. It was so. Maybe you don't always need to demolish it and build a new one. You just need to figure out somehow to add more bathrooms.
They must have had a farmer on the board or something just saying, we don't need something new. We can
You know,
fix it and we can make it better.
oh yeah, bigger, better, faster. Mm-hmm.
So
Oh,
were the roads good for your drive home or?
a little blustery on the way up there in some spots. It's just like everything else. You can tell when you're going on the number one. You can almost tell what stubble you're next to by how much snow is blowing on the road. So going up there, a couple spots were bad. coming home, had a little fun on the way home. I'm sure glad my wife woke up when she did, or else I'd probably be in, the hoos cow. But I I almost got myself in trouble. My teenage years were just starting to creep out, and then my wife woke up and I bailed out.
Do you care to share the story, or are you keeping this
Ah,
one to yourself?
well, I guess I can share it. There's yeah, yeah, oh yeah. So we're in between Brooks and Medicine Hat there. Nice open chunk. And 10 over the speed limit is where I drive. So it's 110. I'm at 120, just cruising on the highway. My wife's having a nap because it's been a long weekend. My daughter's in the back, just playing on her iPad. And all of a sudden, I look in the rearview mirror, and for quite a few miles, two old, early 2000s Chevys, just side by side behind me. I don't know if these guys are holding hands in these trucks or what the hell. They were side by side for about like 5 miles.
They must have thought they were wild hogs or something.
Oh, yeah, that looked like it. So all of a sudden, they pull out and pass me. That's fine. Get on with your life, guys. Then they go out and pass me, and they not bad looking trucks, but they're getting to be 20-some-year-old pickup trucks. I know my way around a Chevy dealership. They're 20-year-old pickup trucks. They're getting old and slow. They go past me, and the last guy has just the most obnoxious garbage-sounding muffler, and the one guy's in front of me, and the other guy's right beside me, and just the most terrible blah, droning sound in my ear. And then these two yahoos decide, well, man, let's just slow down and screw with this, I don't know, Saskatchewan plated guy. And so they started slowing down. I have to kick off the cruise and slow down and slow down. And I'm like 110. I'm like, this is just stupid. And then all of a sudden, these new trucks, my wife's got a pretty new Chevy half-ton with the 6.2. These new trucks are just 400 horsepower rocket ships. They got more horsepower than both them two old clapped out Chevys have combined. So these guys kind of spaced themselves out a hair, and all of a sudden they slowed down and got spaced out just enough there that I could step on it, past the guy to my left, and just blow by the guy ahead of me. And like I said before, these new half tons move. And so I just laid right into it, like 100%. Let's go, baby, let's go. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. There should be nobody out, no sheriff or no county mountie on the highway. So I laid into it, and I just dismantled these two old pickup trucks. And me and old stupidity, I ran it right up to the governor, which is basically $1.80 in these new half tons. Right up to the governor. And pretty well when the truck hit the governor, maybe it hit a little bump or something, my wife woke up and, how come we're going so fast? So I, bailed out and resumed on the cruise, pulled over to the right lane, and just slowed down and right back to 120. Well, now these two guys behind me, they must be a little perturbed that that new half ton just blew them away. So they come up on me, and they come up on me probably, in the old half tons, probably at their governor, about 150. And the two of them just went right past me. Boom, boom. And then they pulled out again side by side and went back to holding hands, but they stayed pulling ahead. I think they already learned their lesson that the 6.2 in the new trucks is just going to dismantle them. And so I was like, good, take off, guys, get out of here. You're gone. I'll just take doing my thing. And within about a minute of that, all of a sudden, I got passed by this white sheriff car on the number one. He went by me at, I'm going to say close to 200 and chased these two guys down and pulled the one over, and the other one just went right to 110 within a couple of miles. He pulled the one over. I'm sure he's getting a healthy ticket. And the other one, he went right back to driving the speed limit, and I just stayed right at $1.20 and just cruised right by him. So for once in my life, I'm glad I woke my wife up from a nap, because I'm sure I would have kept my foot in there, and I would have been 5 miles ahead of these guys if I would have, the 20-year-old me would have stayed driving. But goddamn, I'm glad my wife woke up, because, oh boy, just for that little bit, when them guys were irking me around, I just wanted to just teach them a lesson. And I'm glad I only taught them a little lesson, and I'm glad the ticket probably teach them another lesson.
Well, that's probably the one story where somebody's actually glad they woke up their wife and they live to tell the tale.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's like, why are we going so fast? I was like, because these two clowns. So I had to tell her the story. And then when that cop went by me, oh, boy, When the lights come on, he was just behind me. When his lights come on, I'm like, oh no, I'm in trouble. And then he just painted me on the highway. I'm like, ooh, I'm not in trouble.
Yeah, that sinking feeling you get in your gut when you see the lights come on behind you, and then the relief you feel when they go shooting past you.
Oh yeah, I was like, go get him, boys.
Woo, go get them. So, what do you use for fertilizer on your farm, Dallas? We're kind of getting off track here. We should maybe try and get back to the topic of farming because that's what this podcast is all about: is farming in Saskatchewan. And
Really?
so,
Since when? We had Nick on last time. That had almost nothing to do with farming. Actually, no, it was a great episode. Well, we soil test, and we've been Alpine liquid phos, or liquid plant food they call it. Oh, I think since 2006 we switched to that. We're dry phos at that time just went through the roof, $1,400 a ton or something like that. And Alpine was just trying to get their foothold into the doors. And so, they didn't have a huge surplus, but they come out with good programs, a good price. And if you bought the kit and bought the Alpine, come basically fall or the next spring, they rebated the price of the kit back to you to put on your drill. So it basically was free.
right.
And it worked out to way less dollars per acre to go to Alpine. So we've been with Alpine since '06, and all the drills since then have always had it. So with liquid phos, and then basically we soil test pretty well every field, in some areas, and every field. So it's liquid phos and a dry blend of what we need per crop in every field.
Like for your dry, you're putting like granular phos, sulfur.
Yeah, exactly. If it's canola, it's got a higher sulfur, and it's we teamed up with a really good agrologist, and that has just saved our bacon over the years. And and they're Western Ag Labs. I mean, they can predict how much moisture, what you have in the field, what you need in the field. What are your yields going to be? I mean, you always want to hit I want to grow 100 bushel crop. What's not going to happen? Okay, what are you realistically going to grow? Well, I'd like to grow a 40. You're going to need this much fertilizer at this much rain. So you're going to use 5 gallons of Alpine and 140 of a blend of the blend that they want. And we've followed that basically religiously. And it's really been a big asset to us. And but you're almost the exact opposite.
Yeah, so we are quite the opposite. We put a little bit of granular phos down with our seed because we're only a single shoot drill, and the rest, our sulfur, our nitrogen, and our phos, are in liquid form. We used to do NH3, and a little bit of backstory here. The year was 2011. I obviously wasn't farming at the time. I was still in school, but it was a very wet spring that year.
Oh yeah,
So
that was beyond wet. Yep.
So normally at that time when we did NH3, or as if you don't know what NH3 is, it's anhydrous ammonia. Well, we'd always put that on in the fall prior, and then most of our fertilizer would be down, and then we just have our little bit of granular phos that would have to go down in the spring. Well, in 2011, it was extremely wet, so we couldn't get all our crop in. Well, as anybody knows, with NH3, it gases off. So we only got about a quarter of the farm in, and we lost all that fertilizer. Well, that was about a $250,000 hit that we took. So we got scratching our head. Well, we can't have this again because, well, we're not going to regain that at all in any way. So we looked at, well, what if we do NH3 in one pass with the drill? Well, in the fall, we were running 3 outfits, and there was only a small handful of other guys running at the time. And it was Viterra that we were dealing with at the time. They had an anhydrous plant, and they couldn't keep it to us at that time when there's only us and a few other small guys going. So we thought, well, when everybody else is going, they're not going to keep this to us, and we got to depend on somebody else showing up. So we thought, well, maybe we should just go to a dual shoot drill and do granular. Well, we thought, well, the problem with granular is if you don't get all the crop in, you got to rotate that. And if it goes hard in a bin, you got to either get in there, chisel it out, or dynamite it out. So then we looked at liquid. And we got crunching some numbers. As I'm saying it was Dad and Leonard doing it. Obviously, I wasn't doing it.
Leonard's your uncle?
Leonard's my uncle, yes.
Okay, yeah.
So
He's the one that doesn't like a phone.
that's right.
Leonard, there's a phone call.
Yeah. So we got crunching some numbers and we looked at liquid phos. Well, the cost for getting, or liquid fertilizer, sorry, the cost for getting set up in it is atrocious. It could scare just about anybody away. But then we got asking our agronomists and whatnot, well, can we buy this in the off season? Like in NH3, you got to have a certified tank if you want to buy it, like a storage tank that you got to keep certified. Well, that's not going to work. But with liquid fertilizer, you just got to have some kind of tank to put it in. So we priced out tanks, and at that time, a 200-ton tank was only $50,000. So we put two of them up, and we're able to buy liquid fertilizer in the off season. Well, at that time in 2011, buying it in the off season when it was cheaper would pay for the tank, and then I have all my fertilizer sitting on site, and we're the only idiots responsible for getting it to the drill. We're not relying on somebody else. I just got to rely on myself. Yes, it did end up requiring that we need to have more equipment. Like we had to buy a liquid caddies for both drills, had to buy a tanker to go behind the semi. And liquid, yes, it is messy and whatnot, but in a way, I believe it's the safest fertilizer we can use, because that NH3, it scares me. Like here just 2 years ago, like Nick's dad, he got gassed because he had a little, and I was talking to Nick about it, and Nick was like, it's not good. Like, this is scary shit, man.
Well, and the liquid. I mean, I got a few buddies around here that use liquid, and it seems to work for them. And you're right there. I never thought about how good it stores. I mean, besides our liquid phos, it stores very well. But the only problem is when we got into Alpine, they were pushing these Store King metal bins with a liquid kit on the bottom. They're a hopper bottom with a liquid kit. And I know of at least two of these Store King bins. I think they're made by Meridian, but they're just like a coated metal fertilizer bin.
Mm-hmm.
Two of them almost in the exact same spot. I'm thinking where they had the ground cable or welded onto them. Both developed holes. And we had 54,000 liters of liquid phos go flowing into the trees, which are, grass is finally starting to grow there again now. But we actually hauled out the dirt, dug it out, ripped out everything, trying to haul that fertilizer out. We hired guys with the manure spreading trucks that come out here and haul the dirt out where all that liquid phos had been spilt and spread it in the fields, and then went to an old fence line, scooped up the fence line, hauled it back in, and dumped it on top of all that liquid phos, just trying to use it up, because that was a tough hit. So that whoever thought that idea of storing in a non-stainless steel bin, for us, didn't work. And I know of another farm had the exact same thing happen. So we have one, I think it's a 40,000 gallon liquid bin. I don't know how many tons that would be. That must be 100 and some ton for sure. And it's been stainless steel, and it's just wonderful. And Dad put that bin basically where you can see it from the house. So whenever it springs a leak, you can see it. Where years ago, the Store King was way at the other end of the farm. And hired man, we come to go move an auger, or we're going to haul grain. He come to get the conveyor, and he calls me. And this is, 10 years ago, at least, because he's been gone for 10 years. He says, that liquid bin's got a leak. I got my finger plugging the hole. I'm like, well, okay. So I scamper out there, and he's halfway up the ladder, leaned over the one side, got his finger in the hole. I was like, well, how bad can it be? Well, he takes his finger off the hole. It's only the size of a pencil eraser. But the bin was full because, again, like he said, fertilizer is cheaper to get in the fall. So we filled it in the fall. Well, it comes out of that hole, and it's going 20, 25 feet straight off into the trees, into the kind of a slough spot there. Oh, boy, get your finger back on that hole.
It is actually amazing how much head pressure there is. Like I said, ours are 200 tons. I can't remember the diameter. I'm going to say they're 20 feet in diameter. So they're fairly tall. And they're stainless steel, obviously, but we got a pump that we normally load the trucks with. We actually, I got specific bins for phos, nitrogen, and sulfur. So I make all my blends on site. I got
You got a meter and a pump?
I got a meter and a pump, yeah. But when those bins are right full, if you're not in a hurry, you actually don't need to run the pump. Like, it'll run 150 gallons per minute. With the head pressure, because there's that much, it's heavy.
So you'll load the tanker in 40 minutes.
Yeah, I don't have that much time, so I normally I'd run the pump.
Oh yeah. Oh, back to my liquid phos bin to end that story. So we're like, now how do we stop this leak in this bin? Halfway up the ladder. Clayton can't stand there with his finger over the hole forever. And Dad's like, what if we go around the bin with like a ratchet strap, like a wooden block wrapped with an old tire tube around it? Like, what? Might slow it down, and we'll get on the phone, and maybe Alpine can come empty the bin. And so we go around 2 ratchet straps around this bin, block with a chunk of rubber tube wrapped around it, and keep sucking her tight till it stopped leaking. It never leaked another drop. And my dad's, he's not afraid of nothing. So he's like, well, we're short all this fertilizer. Before the price goes up, we filled the bin right back to the top again. And the only thing holding it in there was 2 ratchet straps, a wooden block, and a chunk of tire tube.
That takes balls of steel to trust a $20 ratchet strap, an old worn out tube, and a 2x4 that was sitting out in the rain and everything to hold what would be a couple $100,000 worth of fertilizer.
Yeah, at the north end of the yard, actually quite a few days there. Everybody wandered out there a few times. Like it doesn't have a drop, doesn't have a mark. I mean, we're good to go. And then they come out, they fix the bin. We took the liquid kit off the bottom, and we put on the granular kit. It's just a fertilizer bin now, but it's just dry fertilizer now. But I would never trust that. I mean, they said they only thing they did to honor that is they gave us a really good deal on the stainless one that we got. It was basically almost half price.
Well, as they should.
Yeah, I mean, we lost. Well, it was over $1 a liter, and we lost 54,000 liters. So, I mean, that was probably a $60,000 hit. So, them to give us a $20,000 discount on the bin and sell it to us for cost is nothing off them. They didn't lose any money. We're still out. Well, we're still out $60,000 with a FOSS. Plus, we had to buy another bin, so we're at $100,000.
That would almost be double now.
Yeah. Well, we got our liquid FOSS in here a little while ago. It's just shy of $2, I think, $1.60. It's not cheap. But our results speak for themselves. Like, we run newer Vatterstad dual shoot drills, and our crop says to the world, we know what we're doing. It looks like our crop is usually a little bit better, I think, than some of the neighbors have, but we put more into it. But it's usually a little better. Hopefully, the Alpine is supposed to make better roots, and I bet money on it does. It just makes a healthier, stronger plant. But just only thing we've been short the last few years is a little too short of vitamin H2O.
I'll try and send some your way if I have any extra. How about that?
Sure.
I'll blow in your direction.
Get Nick to hook it to the back of the Duramax and pull it over here.
Yeah, well, on Facebook there on the 306 Farmers Club, his big versatile tractor, it's the cover picture right now. He just got that on yesterday, actually.
I know he beat out the world's most famous 9280 and the 112-foot Land Roller, too. I tried, but Nick's rolling coal with that old 835, or is it 835 or 875?
One of them is an 835. I can't remember what the other one is. I'm pretty sure the 835 is his favorite.
Yeah, well, it looks good. It's rolling coal, pulling that harrow, and got a drone footage of it. Drone picture of it looks good. Looks sharp. Congratulations, Nick. Well deserved.
Yep. Well, he deserved it. That tractor looks really nice for its age. I've been up to it before. It's a nice looking tractor for. Well, geez, that'd almost be a 50-year-old tractor, would it not?
Well, it'd probably be. I think they started probably 70. Yeah, probably late 70s, early 80s. We had an 835, but it was an 83. Ours was a 1983 Series 3 with a PTO. Kind of missed that tractor. Really have no use for it, but still kind of missed that tractor.
Yeah, we all have those pieces of farm equipment we miss.
That's why I plan on being buried in the 9280. I'm taking that one with me. You're going to have to dig a big hole. It's a triple tractor.
I was just going to say, we're going to need one big trackhoe to build one big hole.
Yeah. Drive her in there. So what do you run for drills, since we're talking about farming on this podcast?
So a lot of people aren't going to understand what this is or ask, why are you still running one of them? So we actually run, we do run a Borrego. I know it's strange why we run a Borgo, but we like the belief of, well, this isn't strong enough. We'll just hire more welders.
Yep.
We've never had a problem with anything cracking or whatnot, but it's just always what we ran. You might think we're a little crazy because the Vaterstadt factory is literally 40 minutes away from my house. So maybe one day we'll look at them, but for what we run for Borgo drills, I'll just talk about the toolbar part for right now, but we run 5810s. If you don't know what a 5810 is, it's just an updated version of the 5710.
Which is
And
a tried and true 5710 is a tried and true design. It's like the Flexicol 5000 of Borgo's, isn't it?
it's very much the same, I'd have to believe. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of 5710s still running around. Like, they were the drill to have at one time, and they're not the best drill for doing oil seeds, but for cereals like barley and wheat, they grow one damn good wheat and barley crop. They're pretty hard to beat. Really, the only wear part you have on them is your seed boots. Like, there's not much for bushings or anything to go wear on them like there is with a parallel link drill. So
No.
the only thing they really changed on them, and I can't figure out for the life of me why they did it, is on the 5710, your rock shaft. And what your rock shaft is, it's a tube that goes along the main frame of the cultivator part of it, and it's what your wheels ride on for having it go up and down, in and out of the ground. Well, on the 5710s, it's solid steel. It's solid all the way through. On the 5810s, I don't know. Some engineer thought they knew something, and they were going to change the world.
No.
They
Yeah.
went to a tube. So it made a
Half
weak
the
point.
strength. Yep.
Half the strength, yeah. So these drills, they were maybe, it was their second year with them. And why aren't these things seeding even? Like, we got a big cement pad in front of the shop. We'd bring them home, unhook them from the air cart, put them on the cement pad, level them, go seed. Half a day later, why isn't this staying level? Nothing's moved. We had guys out from Borgo, guys out from the dealer who couldn't figure it out. And one day, we got going around with a measuring tape off the cement pad. Well, this rock shaft, it's twisted like it's corkscrewed.
Oh, it's twizzling. I call that twizzling. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just
So what we did is we had to remove them. We took one to a metal shop just north of town here, Goodman Steel in Rocanville, and they straightened the one. And what we had them do is they wrapped steel around it. So they made the sidewall of the tube thicker.
okay.
And then Borgo gave us one brand new rock shaft. So before it even went back on the second drill, it also went to Goodman's and was straightened out. And then we've never had a problem with them since, but we just couldn't figure out for the life of us why weren't these drills seating straight or seating level? And that turned out to be the problem. Never had that problem with our 5710s, but when we went to the 5810s, we did.
Well, it's just dollars and cents, and a solid shaft might cost, well, let's say $5 a foot, but that tube might only be $1.50 a foot. They're going to save $3.50 a foot, no matter how terrible of a job it'll do in the future. Believe me, on the CAD drawings on the computer, it was going to work flawless, and you'd never see a difference.
Exactly. And unfortunately, it's probably some of the cruelty that we're living in this world is we're going to lose quality in our equipment just so the manufacturers can save $3 or $4 a machine.
Oh yeah, here, build a tractor, load it full of plastic fenders, and then sell you the weight kit to weight it down. You know, my old 9280, solid, they're not solid, but they're steel fenders. They're not going anyplace. They're not going to crack and rot off. You don't need as much weights. You know, a big bud has zero weight kit on a big bud. If we ever have old Tanner Malang on here, the Tanner Talk, he'll go on. He's a big bud expert, basically. You know, you don't need a weight kit in a big bud. They're made out of a lot, inch and a half, 2-inch thick metal. That's your weight kit. You know, build them out of something.
And that's one thing I can't understand what these tractor manufacturers are doing. Like, they're building these tractors lighter, and then we got to hang all these suitcase weights off them, like they do with the big buds. Why don't you build the weight into it? And I've even seen on some air drills where they got suitcase weights hanging out on the end of the wings.
Oh, I've seen
Like,
that too.
why not just have thicker tubing and build the weight into the whole machine so it goes in the ground instead of hanging weights off the end and then wondering why it's busting out at the hinges?
Yep. Because you can always tell, like I don't have much education, but welder is part of my education in my experience. When you're looking at, say, like a 4x4 tubing, the if it's got a real sharp bend, that's light wall tubing. But if it's got a large gradual bend, just a gentle slope, the more gentle the curve is in the metal, the more solid it is. So if you have like a 4x4 that's like almost half-inch wall, that bend will take like an inch. And if it's quarter-inch wall, or if it's like 125 wall, it's a square 90. So put some metal in them, weld them up, reinforce them better, but they don't want them to last forever. And who's going to want to buy a drill that's going to last forever? We want the newest, best technology, and the old one's breaking apart. Let's go shopping. And then you can haul the old one to IPSCO, they can melt it down and make a new drill out of it.
Yeah, and I hate the idea of planned obsolescence. Like, I like the idea of, yes, I do like new things and whatnot. I like the finer things, but I also like it when that piece of equipment, when I go to trade it off, it's in great shape for the next guy. And the smaller guy, like Nick, he can afford to buy it and it's not clapped right out.
Yeah. Once a drill, and that's pretty important. Once a drill is so clapped out, that you can't put it back together reasonably, then they're useless. Then they are junk. And the big thing is with our drills, the tank, the toolbar is very similar to the toolbars and the shank system of our very first Sea Hawk in 03. But the shanks is a good design. But the toolbars, they've made wider and almost made lighter. We have to do a lot of welding on ours. But then the tanks is where I think the technology has really gotten better, with the individual sections of metering, individual meter rollers for each section, the shanks that lift out of the ground. When that section overlaps, it turns the meter off and it raises the shanks out of the ground automatically. Like, that's the technology that we're going to want to keep moving towards. And then again, they know these tanks are going to rot out. Half of them are metal. I mean, over half the tank is pure, just regular iron. They're going to rot right out, and they're going to fall apart. And there's only so many rebuild kits you're going to do to some of these drills before it's just like, yep, it's junk. I mean, but that's why our drills, for the most part, with the exception of the small one, because we had some issues with it, are stored indoors, just because they're so expensive. Right now, they're still the best you can get, in my opinion, so we keep them inside. Just try to extend that life as long as we can, because every time you price one out, they've gone up 50 grand more than last year, and it's just, and then, if I keep them in good shape, I get a long time out of them, and then when I come to get rid of them, they look good and running good and are nice and straight, not all tweaked and banged up and smashed up. I hope I get good value out of my trade, which makes all the money I spent on keeping it in the shed worthwhile.
It's amazing what just keeping anything in general in a shed, how much it makes a difference on it. Like on our drills, I believe we got them, I'm going to say 2013 or 14. Most of the hoses on it, like the seed hoses, are still the originals, believe it or not.
Are yours kept indoors?
Ours are kept indoors. There's
Yeah.
99% of our equipment's stored indoors.
Oh, it's huge. Tires,
Even our
hoses.
stone pickers sit inside a lean-to.
You're a better man than I am. And I got a good stone picker. We just don't got the shed space for that yet. And, it's always part of the next year plan. But when we missed a few crops, so our next year plans, let's hope we don't lose next year's plan. We just got to keep what we have. And we'll go forward next year.
Absolutely.
But your tires, your hoses, even the cosmetic side, the paint, everything is going to be better. And then, all the rams, all the hoses, like I said, and especially with us running Alpine, we have them little blue lines, and they have almost no UV coatings on them little 1/4-inch blue lines. Like, they'll just get brittle, and you can just grab them and snap them with 2 fingers. It's like, well, that's done. And then
You actually have an interesting story for your one drill that was sitting outside for a little while. Something happened to the Alpine tank.
Oh yeah, you've seen a video. We well, the charter writes us up on that tank yet, but we sold the one drill, and the guy was going to take the Alpine tank with it. And he said, I'll take the drill. Had a truck driver come down, take the drill, and then said, no, the Alpine tank is a caddy that we built ourselves, pulled behind. It worked okay, but not perfect, but it worked okay. And we'll just store it here when you come down this summer to get it. Well, that summer passed, and then the next summer passed, and then next thing you know, it was last winter, and we're like, we need to put a tank on the new 60-foot drill. And Dad and I looked at each other, and we both kind of agreed we're going to use the green tank that's parked up on the hill. It's a 800-gallon tank. It was fine. So we did all the work, took it off the liquid cart, put it on the drill. It's been sitting up there for 3 years. I mean, so I'm pretty sure it's ours. And so I took it apart, put it on the drill, got everything all plumbed, got it ready. Putting all the lines on, that's a big job, and all that fun stuff. Got it all done, got the pumps on, got dual pumps, filled it full. It's leaking out of both sides of the damn tank. And look at it, it's like, it's not a crack. It's a bullet hole all the way through the damn tank. Oh, it's like, reverse the hoses, pump the tank out, we loaded it right in the yard, right next to the liquid bin. So it was just flip the hoses around, come out of the tank, into the bin, sucked her down, done. Didn't lose 2 cups, perfect. Well, then now what do we do? Alpine's supposed to be fairly non-corrosive. So we had some bins built a few years ago. That's pretty close to a 5/16 bolt hole. So grab the drill. That bullet hole is now a 5/16 hole. And with the bin bolts, with them rubber washers, I put rubber washers on the bolt side, stuck it all the way through, put another rubber washer on the nut side, tightened them right up on both sides of the tank that has the hole in it. Filled her back full, good to go. Everybody's like, get a plastic welder, get this, get that. I'm like, that sounds great. That sounds wonderful. I don't have a plastic welder, but I do have lots of extra bin bolts. And so
that's some farmer ingenuity right there.
Yeah, that's the things you do to get yourself back home. Or actually, that was to get started seeding, because the big drill had already been running for 2-3 days by that time we finished the little drill. So the operator and I that were going to run that drill, we that scrambled to get it finished. Everything took a little bit longer this time. Sometimes but and then at the same time where I'm trying to spray ahead of the 80-foot drill, and Dad's keeping seed for the 80-foot drill, and we're working on the little drill, and there's me and an ex-hired man at that time, and we were get her done, get her on, get her going, and it actually worked pretty damn decently the whole time. But yeah, and I don't think it was a stray bullet, because a stray bullet would be coming down, that bullet would look like it went right through one side and exactly parallel coming out the other side. So
somebody was playing target practice.
Somebody was playing target. Big green tank sitting about 300 yards off the road, and sat there for years. And yep, target practice. But at least we're only out a couple of cups and a couple of bin bolts. So, and I got a story.
Yeah, we got a great story about it. That gave us about 10 minutes for a podcast. Who knew that would turn out so great for you?
Yeah, yeah, great. But, like in everything, farming is stressful. So you got to let things sometimes go. I mean, if I would have got panicked over that and really stressed out and tried to hunt down a plastic welder or went scrambling for another tank, it would have took the stress level up. But the quick, easy fix, and if them bolts rot off, I'll just put another couple of bin bolts back in it. It'll be easy. But sometimes the things you have to do to relieve stress are key. That's the whole reason my wife and my daughter and I took off the farm the other day. Because last year was a stressful year. It was a dry year. We didn't have a great crop. The prices in the toilet, and then we work hard around here. And commodities are terrible priced. We just got to go. I mean, there's never a great time to leave the farm, and it's always a great thing to leave the farm. Get away, turn my phone off, basically. Let's just go to a hockey game. Let's go camping. But sometimes you got to do something to relieve some stress, because This our lives are too short to get stressed out over
Exactly.
things we can't control. I mean,
Yeah.
and certain things we can't control. So I don't know how other people deal with stress.
No, and
Uh,
like some things you can do is you can go out for a coffee or go out for supper with a friend and just talk to them. But if you're in a certain situation and you're feeling really down, there is a farm stress line you can call here in Saskatchewan. They are open 24 hours. It doesn't cost anything. Don't be afraid to phone them and ask for help. Their number is 1-800-667-4442. They don't judge, they don't have call or display. They're just there to help you. Don't be afraid to reach out. That's the Saskatchewan Farm Stress Line.
exactly. And if things are bothering you, they're not going to judge. They've heard it before. You're not alone. If things are bothering you, just make that quick call. And because
They're
there's so
trained
many,
professionals.
yeah,
Like,
there's so many more things important than your family is more important than grain prices. Your health is more important than grain prices. And if stress is getting bothering you, you have to do something. And it's an easy phone call, like Tyler said there, 1-800-667-4442. It's a free call, not judged. It's critical. Mental health is a major part of everything in the world. And now we know, like, you can't let that bother you. You just can't. I mean, it's always going to be a factor, but sometimes you have to just know how to get rid of that stress, relieve that, and get on with your life.
we're all in this together. And
Yep.
unfortunately, suicide rates amongst farmers are getting higher and higher. And I'd really like to see that number go down. So I'm
Yep.
hoping maybe just even with this podcast, somebody listening to it and hearing the struggles that you and I have, Dallas, or one of our guests, somebody will think, huh, oh, I
Yep.
thought I was the only one. I
Yeah, you're
guess
not the
not.
only.
Like
You're
right
not the
now,
only one.
yes, farming's stressful for me too, but we've been pulling off some good crops here. I would be a disaster if I was in your shoes, Dallas.
I handle stress fairly well, but like I always say, jumping up and down and screaming and yelling and kicking the dog when things go to shit only really pisses the dog off. It doesn't solve anything. Sometimes you have to just let the cooler head prevail and go, I'll look at the positive. You know, we've had some good years. We've banked on them good years. We grew on them good years. You know, our debt to service ratio is still, it's growing, but it's still manageable. But so that's the reason I can keep my stress low is we haven't overbought. We're running. Yeah, we do run new drills, but I think seeding is important. But the tractors are older. My combines are antiques. My sprayers are older. My semis are all older. And, think we just had a new guy start at the farm here the other day, and whew, he's a lifesaver. Journeyman truck mechanic. I got a lot of trucks, and they need a lot of help. But they're older, paid for trucks, run on paid for trailers. So we're trying to keep our debt ratio down. You keep your debt ratio down, you keep your stress down. Because years ago when Dad and I bought land, the payment on the land was far less than what land rent was, and now it's paid for. So now the only expense that land has is taxes. So we're lucky enough we have a lot of paid for land that is offsetting the price of the new land that we bought. So it's
Exactly.
keeping it serviceable. Yeah, and I don't wish anybody to miss crops the way we miss crops. I mean, it's like last spring, beautiful, come up so nice, so even, so timely the rains, but no subsoil moisture, and when the temperature got turned to cook, we got fried. Lots of straw, not much crop. But sometimes, I mean, and that's the reason that I was an RM counselor for 16 years. And some of the stress between RM and farming, I had to let one go. And I'm not going to walk away from the farm. And the RM can run without me, and they'll find somebody new to replace me, and they'll do fine. So I had to make the decision for me and my own mental health and for my family, for me to walk away. And maybe it wasn't the right time for the RM, but it was the right time for me.
Well, and you do, at one point, you do got to look out for number one.
Yeah, and that's my family and then myself,
Exactly.
in my mind. And then, so
Getting back to being out in the field, them long hours, what is your go-to snack when you're out in the field in them long hours?
everything in the lunchbox.
But do you have that one specific thing that you gotta have in that lunchbox every day? Otherwise, your day is ruined per se.
2 cups of coffee.
You're a
I'm
coffee drinker, eh?
well, I can. I'm overweight. Battled that my entire life. But I eat what's around me, and I love everything that comes to food. But I can also go. I can leave here in the morning with 2 Go cups of coffee, and be gone all day, and that and some water, a couple jugs of water or whatever, and come back in at 7, 8 o'clock at night and haven't eaten since breakfast and be fine. But not a lot of people can do that. But the go-to for me is always probably as long as I got that cup of coffee with me. And that's probably not good for me either, but it's probably a lot better than some other things. I mean, I know lots of guys when they head her out, their lunchbox got 4 or 5 beer in it, and that's their lunch, and that's how they operate, but that's not how I operate. So
What I don't understand about those guys that take beer out and whatnot, yeah, one beer or whatever, but they sit out there and they drink all day, and then they got hired guys, and the hired guys are doing the same thing. Like, are you not worried about your liability if you have an accident or one of your hired men have an accident? Like, is your liability even going to carry that if you knew that hired man had been drinking and you're drinking and you're over the legal limit?
I guess if you operate at that level, maybe. I couldn't. Yeah, my dad has always stated that right from the time I was a youngster. I mean, when it's work, and then work is work, and your after hours are your after hours, but they don't mix together. I mean, and so we've never been a farm that has beer wander out to the field.
No, we're the same way here too. We're always, there's a time and place for it. We'll work, and then when work's done, then you can indulge.
Here's a funny story. So when I was, I think I might be 18 or 19, basically almost done school, I was actually helping a rancher way down south, farmer rancher, nice guy, still a good friend of mine to this day. And it was a Saturday. I was picking rocks and drove down there to go picking rocks, working for this farmer, just working for somebody besides the family farm, which is always a recommended thing. So I went down there and I was picking rocks. Hey, I told them when we were going to the field, we were out last night and, had a few beers and, or whatever, and there's some beer in the back seat of the car and I was driving. So he come out there with supper, and there's his loving wife had made supper for the two of us. So he come out there and had supper with me, and in the box there with that time picking rocks by hand, and, youngster, and we never did at the farm, but this is his farm, and he passed me a beer. Meanwhile, he popped the cap off of his, and he says, like, just sucking back this beer. I'm like, never had this at our farm. I had to have a beer with supper. So I'm having a sip of this beer. It's even my brand. He looks at me and smiles and laughs. Even your beer. He said, you told me it was the back seat of your car. So that's one of my only drinking in the field experiences, and I thought I was getting a free beer from the boss, and he says he's drinking my beer. But no, we were never type of that farm. I mean, I do love a good drink in the shop Friday after work. Don't doubt me about that. But
there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's just in the field running machinery. I know my judgment would get skewed in a hurry, and again, I like to overeat, and I also could overdrink. So I think I'd be in that lunchbox or beer box at 10:30 a.m. and my judgment wouldn't be there. And that's just the one my dad taught us that way. So it's always been that way, and it's just I have no plans on ever changing that theory.
Yeah, no, I feel we're much the same way here, and all our hired guys that we have respect that. They have the same mentality. They're from that older generation, a lot of them, so it works great for us. I don't know. We have big enough wrecks and crashes with everybody being sober. I couldn't imagine if we were all drinking and whatnot, what would happen. So.
No, and if that's your farm, I mean, I'm not judging you. You operate the way you want to operate. That's fine. But I'm going to operate the way I was taught to operate.
Yeah, and it's no skin off my teeth. You do you. Like, each to their own. This is just our view on our farms, everybody. Yeah, right?
Exactly.
Like, we're not here to judge anybody, but.
No, if I want to get judgy at people, I need to start drinking. My wife has a coffee cup or whatever. Let's drink and judge people is what it says on there.
That's a great cup.
Yeah, that's a great cup. Oh, but that's it. Yeah, it's just how our farm is operated. It's just, and we meet at the farm at 7, and we sometimes not getting home at 11 o'clock at night. Like we give her, and just never a part of our operation.
Exactly. Nope.
Tyler, you must have your go-to snack. Can I guess? Is it popcorn?
It's not popcorn. I have taken popcorn to the field, and that lasts about 10 minutes. I am a popcorn lover. So, unfortunately, I don't know if it's unfortunately, but I am not a coffee drinker. I find coffee extremely bitter. It doesn't matter how much sugar or cream I put in it, I find it bitter. So, I sometimes I'll do sweets, but I really like my salty snacks. Have you ever heard of Dot's Pretzels?
Dot's pretzel.
It is an
Maybe.
American snack.
Oh, ay caramba.
I know that's a touchy subject right now with what's going on in politics, but we're not going to go there.
Hopefully Hawkins Cheesies can make you a pretzel.
So,
But Dot's pretzel, we might be going down the States here come March or whatever, and we'll have to look for them. So
keep
what
your
are
eye
they?
out for them. They got about 10 different flavors. They have or not 10 different. They got about 5 different flavors in the pretzels, and then they have their own they're like cheesies or cheese curls, I think they call them. The wife loves them.
That's your go-to. Your lunchbox
That's
has
one
a
of my
couple bags.
go-tos.
Oh yeah.
So my next go-to would be seasoned sunflower seeds.
I've done that before, and
I
I find I just
love
make up.
sunflower seeds.
Yeah, and once I start, I can't stop them either. Well, the salt, and then you make a mess of the cab, and the next guy's angry at you. So
Well, I normally I'll have a Gatorade before I do them, and then I got a spit cup.
oh yeah, plan
But
ahead.
I don't know. I just like it. Because you get out there long hours, it does get boring just sitting there with the GPS on, making sure like you're spraying, you don't crash the booms into anything, paying attention to your drift. Like I'm not gonna take up smoking because I grew up with parents that smoke and I despise it. I'm just
Okay.
gonna come out and say it. I grew up with parents, both parents smoke, still do. I despise it. So there is no chance in me picking up that habit. So I guess instead of smoking, I picked up eating Dot's pretzels and sunflower seeds.
Well, you may as well try a little lip dinner while you're at there. Just pack a good chew in there.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Oh, I've tried that. I've tried smoking on and off a few times just because, that's what younger guys did. But twice in my life did I ever try chew. And I have no idea how those guys and gals that do that are tougher than I am, because that is the most
The
putrid
ones
stuff
that got it too.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of my friends chew, and I don't know how they do it. And a lot of my friends are younger than me, and their gums are just destroyed, and they're in their mid-20s. So that's another habit I'm glad I never picked up on.
And the expense of between smoking, especially up here in Canada, we are heavily taxed, especially on the tobacco side, like ridiculously taxed, so I could never figure out, when you're going to pay $25 a can for a tin of Copenhagen, I mean, wowzers, that's a lot of money.
And a lot of them, it only gets them through a day. That's $25 a day. You can almost heat a small shop for that much in the wintertime.
Yep. I always say that's often a, Camaro or a Corvette payment too.
Exactly.
You can have a pretty sporty car for that. Yeah. Here's a story, a little off subject, but whatever. It's a podcast. You're supposed to be off subject. Years ago, I think I was maybe 17, and my dad and myself, and basically all the Leduc men in my family, we're just hunters. Grandpa was a hunter. We're hunters. And Dad was drawn for cow elk. And that was a big deal, 30 years ago, to be drawn for cow elk. And over in Cypress Hills, and teamed up with a group of guys hunting in the Cypress Hills. And where you could hunt, it was deep valleys. And the one guy shot this cow elk, and it went down to the bottom, and went down and did his thing and got her ready to be pulled out.
I'm just cringing it when you say that it went down to the bottom of the valley.
Oh, it honest to goodness, it felt like it went down a quarter mile in about a half a mile slope or more. And there was at least 5 of us went down there with a rope, and I forget how the one guy, he tied loops in the rope, so it went around the cow's neck, and then everybody had their own loop and handle to hold on to, and it was a long 30-foot rope, and everybody had their own loops. We, and with 5 guys doing it, it worked pretty good. We're pulled for a while, and these are good hunters, and everybody's a good guys back then. Stop and laugh, and we got good hunt, got a nice cow elk here, and then the one guy, he digs out this patch or a bag of red man, that
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
pouch of red man, that's it.
you chew on that stuff, don't you?
Oh yeah, it was a tobacco leaf with some seasoning or whatever on it. And I'm just a young 17-year-old whippersnapper. Here you go, young buck there. Take a big wad of this garbage, pack it in your. All these 30, 40-year-old men, they're all packing this into their gums, and oh yeah, I want to be like the big boys here. So I pack this thing into my lip, and then. Right, well, got a little strong flavor thinking to myself, but let's go back to pulling. So we go back to pulling and pull another 100 yards up this frickin' hill, through the valley, through the trees, through the bush. It was just work. And all of a sudden we stop again, and one of the guys says, "Boy, you can spit that out because you're green." I was like, I can take it out. I couldn't get that shit out of my mouth fast enough. It's like, oh my good God. And I've never tried Red Man again, nor will I ever try Red Man again. It was just so beyond terrible. I'm almost ill thinking about that story. It was so bad.
I'm just thinking of the burn that would be in your mouth the first time trying that, because obviously I've tried chewing tobacco and all that too, as young, immature kids do. But I've had a similar experience trying chewing tobacco.
Oh, and then I was swallowing every last drop of it because that's what I thought you were supposed to do. So you know what? Thinking about it now, I might want to buy a pouch of that someday just to watch some other poor kid turn green. Here, try a plug of this. It's good stuff. I won't do it myself, but I want to watch you puke because I was borderline. I didn't puke, but I brings a tear to my eye thinking about it. I must have been just about ready to vomit. Oh, between working hard pulling this elk out and that rancid stuff running through my mouth. Blah. So, yeah, I no problem, never chewing. Nope, not a factor. Nope. Never going to do it.
Have you been to any good farm auctions lately? Or they kind of seem to be a thing of the past since COVID's come and everything seems to be online now.
Yeah, that's on, and that gets you in trouble because you can be in the middle of driving down the field going, oh no, I just bought a sprayer in Swan River. Not quite, but it's sort of. No, the last time I've been to an auction has probably been a couple years. No, when COVID ended, there was one farm auction I went to, but it wasn't as good as what they used to be. The olden days of farm auction used to be an outing.
Oh, yes.
You were there all
go
day.
Out, you'd get a burger or a hot dog and a nice piece of cherry pie.
Yep. And now it's just sit on your phone and click bid. And if it's McDougal's, wait 10 minutes if you're near the end of it. And so somebody else can contemplate the meaning of life and then rebid on you again. And
yeah, Ritchie Bros are much the same way. Like I literally did that this fall. I bought a propane tank for the shop, our new shop, because we run the boilers on propane heat in it. And on the phone, bidding on it, on the two-way radio with Dad, well, this is what we're at. Should we bid any more? Him asking, well, did we get it? Well, no, they added more time. Well, what do you mean they added more time? Isn't it an auction sale?
No, it just... And I remember when Ritchie Brothers first going on and that, you could sniper that bid at the last second. You stole it. You got it. But now they extended, Ritchie Brothers extends it 2-3 minutes. McDougal is 10. And so that's one thing I find when I'm buying stuff on these online auctions. I'll set my max bid limit. Dad and I will have discussed what we want to do, and we'll just walk away. And that's how we ended up with this big grain cleaner is we had our max was whatever number it was going to be. And when we logged back into it, I guess we bought a grain cleaner because it never got up to our max. But because then you end up getting in the bidding war. What did you get for a
grain cleaner? An indent or a clipper? Or?
Well, it's actually a Xanon 5-section rotary screen. We haven't used it yet. I just picked up the screens for it actually yesterday.
Okay.
So it's it's SMS Manufacturing built it. It's on a big heavy duty trailer. It's got a 55 kilowatt generator. It's got an office. It's got a bathroom.
Oh, wow.
It's got a conveyor underneath for the clean grain side, and an unload conveyor off the back end, and a screenings auger side, and then obviously just like a 7-inch screenings auger off the other side. It's got a big air suction on the top.
You're going to have to get into the custom cleaning business.
Yeah, that sounds like absolutely never going to happen. No, we don't even know if it's going to work. That cleaner's more of a large commercial cleaner. So I'm sure to get the job we want done on seed cleaning side, it's probably going to be slower than your average cleaner is going to be. But we have all that intercrop stuff, and I got 20,000 bushels of intercrop stuff, and we've tried out other cleaners, shaker deck stuff, and that doesn't work with the flat lentils and the yellow mustard. If anybody's watched my videos, we do, for last year we did intercrop, large green lentils, and yellow mustard. Just because of the harvestability, you're going after two nutrients at the same time. They have almost the exact same growing season. They're both in that 190 something days range. They're almost the exact same. And then with a large green lentil, they'll grow up to almost 2 feet tall, and then they lean over and lean over and lean over, and you'll combine them one way and pick up 100%, and you go back the other way and you leave way too much in my mind. So I've done it before, and I've seen neighbors do it. You combine the whole field to the north, get to the south end, put her in road gear, drive back to the north, and back, and combine the whole field one way. With the intercrop, your lentils are seen at the normal rate, 90 pounds, 95 pounds, and the mustard is only at 1 pound. So it's about a plant every foot or so, and right down the same seed knife, the exact same depth, and it comes up fine. But when the lentil wants to do a little bit of leaning, that solid stem mustard will hold it in place. And so we bought this cleaner basically because of the rotary screen, because the rotary screen just tumbles it. It's getting turned out of there.
It carries the light stuff right up to the top and then throws it in an auger, does it not?
Well, it just rolls around. It's just a gigantic trommel, just like what's on Gold Rush.
Mm-hmm.
And just the lentils are going to stay inside the trommel, and the yellow mustard is going to fall through, and then you can have them separated. It's got 5 individual sections. You can put different screens in to go with the different sections. There's no re-clean on this. It's just a split it each way separation. But when it comes to our own stuff, if I clean out lentils and if I'm doing my own, if I'm making 30% dockage, you're just going to go back into the for sale bin anyways. So, we'll just make sure we clean before we sell all the product. So that's that cleaner. We've done a lot of work to it. It needed a little TLC when we got it. It was missing some parts, and there was a seized motor on it, and we got her all tickety-boo, and I picked up the last of the screen. So once the weather gets back to being nice and get back from my snowmobile trip, I'm just heading up to Hudson Bay here next week. So that'll be like the week before this podcast comes out. And then we'll get her rocking and rolling, and then I'll be keep an eye, folks. There's going to be lots of TikTok videos on this because it's going to be a learning curve for all of us. So that's the plan. But it's a pretty nice unit. Dad and I were pretty stoked. I think we got a pretty good buy on it. It really wasn't what we're looking for, but we know we can make it work.
Well, that's all that matters, right? Like, if you can make it work for you and you're happy with the results, what does it matter really at the end of the day?
Yeah. And, I had to get all custom-made screens for it because it's an Italian-made cleaner. I think it's 46 and a half inches wide and over 15 feet long. And then out of them 15 feet, it's 5 individual sections. Then you can set it up that way. What do you guys? Oh, you have a big cleaner. Never mind, I was going to ask you about that. You have a big cleaner. Yours is 10 times fancier than what we have.
I wouldn't say it's bigger per se. It only does a little over 100 bushels an acre, but there's a scalper in there. There's an indent. There's a grater. There's a clipper and a gravity table. So
Okay.
there's a lot in there. We can clean just about anything in there, but we mainly clean wheat and barley.
Okay. It's a long way to haul to bring my lentils to you.
Yeah, I'm a little ways away. Just you bring them on by, but I don't know when I'll get to them. I'm in the middle of cleaning wheat right now, so
Oh, but only 100 an hour?
oh, it can do a little. We can push it up to about 150. Like this plant was built in the mid 90s, so that's
Oh, yeah.
in this
Yeah.
area at that time. Everything came in on a 3-ton truck.
Yep.
So if somebody rolled in with a tandem truck, you thought they had the world by the tail. No, so now we get a Super B in, and you can only take 3 Super B loads a day. That's all we got room for storage on the dirty side, and then there's the same amount of storage on the clean side. So it was set up well for the time. I'm grateful to have it because it's a great source of income for the farm.
Yep.
But I could write a book on how not to set up a seed cleaning plant. Because after working in there for X amount of years, everything works, but everything was done wrong. How
Yep.
everything was set up.
Sure, we're gonna find that with this. Ours is a mobile unit. It's on, it's on a Diamond C, 30-some foot long trailer. I mean, it's tandem triaxle trailer, like tandem duals, triaxle. It's massively heavy, but it's mobile. But which just means for us, we're just gonna move it from the north end of the yard to the south end of the yard, and it's really have no plans for it to go anything past the yard. We're so busy, the wintertime, hauling grain, working on machinery, and now they're going to be doing more of the pulse cleaning and stuff. I don't think, no, it's not leaving the yard. Just, no, I can't say in enough ways that we are not going to be custom cleaning with this thing.
One bit of advice I can get is get yourself one of them 3N masks that shield your eyes and have the filters on it. When I got to go do a cleanup, I put one of them on. Like, because you got to keep it clean in there just for fire hazard, and guys bring you different varieties of grain. Like, obviously, you won't be doing that. But you go in there with a leaf blower and your face is covered, you just go at it. You don't even notice the dust. And then not only is it's keeping you healthier too. Like, we got to look after our health, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that's your next TikTok video, and I'm not expecting to see this. I want a full walkthrough on this mask. Then they'll know which one to buy.
Oh, I can do that. It's actually it's the same mask I used when I was doing a little bit of aluminum polishing. That's a TikTok I plan on doing one day. Just I gotta have the trucks in the shop and have the time to do it. Just we're still kind of in the construction phase on that new shop, so I haven't had room or time to bring a truck in and pull wheels off or sand tanks down and get them polished. But I do know how to polish aluminum. I don't know if it's necessarily the right way, as some professionals would say, but it's the way I do it. And I used to do it for a few guys, and they were happy with the results. So I don't know. I must have been doing something right.
Okay, so once you get your trucks all done and polished up, I'm first on your list, and I'm bringing my 9900i NASCAR Edition International. That's the first one, your custom work you can do. I will commute for that one. Because that truck, when I bought that truck in 11, was shined up like a new penny, and it looked marvelous. But that's 14 years ago, and she's starting to look like an old farm truck.
We can probably bring her back. It's pretty amazing what you can do. I'll send you some pictures here when we're done this if I still have some of the transformations I've done.
Yeah, because I love that truck.
I'll tell you what, I'll teach you how to do it, and then you can get dirty.
Can I
That's
send?
a dirty job polishing.
Yeah,
Like
I think I'll send. I'll send somebody else. Okay, so I think we're good at ending this one. We had a good little run. I do think skid steers is a great one because both of us are vastly knowledgeable in them, and then we can do skid steer the must-have attachments.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I
I think this one's going to be a topic for another day.
Yeah, because for us there, I've built half the attachments we've built. I'll just see with something at Ritchie Brothers, and it's usually, like I said, and when we do that, I've seen something, that hired man looking to do something. Let's just build it, and that's what we've done. So, holy Tyler, have you checked the time on this? Like, we've been running here for well over an hour. we want to keep these things, enjoyable and keep it informed, but we don't want to bore you to death. So, you know what, Tyler? I've had a great run. It's been a fun time tonight again, as always. But I think we got to end this one a little bit sooner.
Yeah,
Than
last week's episode, it went fairly long, but if anybody knows Nick or has met him, he likes to talk.
yeah, when you got guests as good as Nick and what Travis was and stuff, I mean, we run them ones as long as we can, and I got lots of connections out here, so I am hoping we get the big heavy hitter, and I can't say his name quite yet because we haven't recorded it yet, but I'm hoping we get one of the big guys and from Saskatchewan, big YouTuber, that come on here for one. So that'll be the next one, and that one will last as long as that one will last. Is that's when them guys get on their rolls, we just sit back and gonna enjoy the show.
Yeah, we might do a 2-part series with him.
Yeah.
Or her.
Or her. Oh, yes. So, thanks, folks. We appreciate you guys tuning in, guys and gals tuning in. Tyler and I really enjoying doing this. We really hope everybody's enjoying listening to them. We're just doing this for the fun. We're doing this to help promote Saskatchewan and Western Canada agriculture. We're going to try to bring in a few more things like the farm stress line, because for both of us, that's critical, that people know there's an outing. So one more time, it's 1-800-667-4442. So 4442. And don't be afraid to call. And it could be the most important phone call you've ever made. So I got to sound off here, Tyler. You have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'm going to have a wonderful rest of mine. And we'll talk to you in the next one. And thanks, folks. We're the Bunny Hug Farmers.
Thanks, Dallas.